I'm Abby,
And I'm Bella.
and this is our development project.
What 3 words come to mind when you think of an elderly person?
Precious, lovely, and wise.
Cranky, mature, old.
Mean, judgmental, and nostalgic.
We're also going to ask students to draw a quick sketch of an old person to show the stereotypes that come to mind.
Okay, so this is Jane, and she's going to be answering some questions for us about her life.
So, do you have grandchildren? And if so, how many and how old are they?
I am very fortunate to have 5 grandchildren, 3 girls and 2 boys, and they are age 10 to 18.
So, what type of activities do you participate in now?
Oh, lots. Basically, of course, with my girlfriends, women friends, I do yoga, and I also have a group that I belong to that I used to work in education with called Retired Educators Enjoying Life. And we do a lunch once a month. And then I have another group that we go to plays and go to cooking classes and things like that. And I'm teaching right now the Kids in Science Olympiad in the area of water quality.
Okay, so what would you consider to be the greatest time of your life?
I would say now. In many ways. I mean, I also was when I was a kid, I loved high school. I really enjoyed it very much, and college. I loved learning. But right now with grandchildren, and my husband and I have been married only 20 years. We'll live 20 years next year, so that's only because, and I had my first husband and I divorced. And this is a wonderful, wonderful marriage. So we live in a place with lots of friends. So it's a very, very good time. Really good time right now.
Good. That's great. What would you say was the hardest time? What time period of your life was the hardest?
Well, the kind of personal one is the hardest time was when my daughters were in high school and my husband and I had divorced and he didn't see them. That was very, very difficult for me. And even though I've had a suicide in my life, I've had a mother with Alzheimer's, I've had a lot of things, just like everybody. But that for me has been the hardest thing in my life.
How has your health been over the years?
Really good. I'm very lucky. I'm very, very fortunate to have good health. I just have minor things like other people. My doctor barely knows me.
How do you feel about the concept of death?
I actually have come to grips with it. I feel fine with it because it's something that everybody has to do. I mean, there's no getting out of it. So you might as well kind of not stress over it, and basically whatever happens, happens. Of course, I've seen a lot of friends with cancer and other things, and naturally you want to have something a little easier than that. And I hope for the sake of my family that I don't follow my mother and get Alzheimer's, because that's very difficult for the people around you. Okay, that's good.
Thank you so
Wow.
much.
Yeah, let's see it.
It's walking on the beach.
So the pictures drawn by the participants confirm the beliefs of Goodale, because the students tended to draw elderly people as the stereotypical old people with wrinkles and glasses. But when we interviewed Jane, she described her lifestyle as very active, and she told us all about the things that she's involved in.
And misconceptions arise due to the media and basically the culture we live in, and also it's portrayed on television and films. Like they portray the typical characteristics of old people that has been stereotyped. And in order to address these stereotypes and misconceptions about the elderly, people can have more face-to-face interactions with them and not believe what the media says.
So misconceptions about age might lead someone to believe that an elderly person is more feeble-minded, sad, or judgmental, and because of that, they approach interactions with older people more tentatively, and they may end up underestimating the ability of them to form meaningful connections.
Yeah, and also Jane does fit the last stage of Erik Erikson's theory of development, because Jane was able to grasp the concept of death in a positive manner, yet she was also able to look back on her life, the good and the bad, and analyze it. And so his theory of integrity versus despair fits Jane